Okay guys, I hope that the voice is audible now. I think there was some problem that came in between. Okay guys, so once again, I welcome you all at the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion, and in this video, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of Hindu newspaper along with the background and way forward. And I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. Now, starting up, first of all, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that what are the important articles for our examination. So, first article, severity of COVID variant XBB 1.16 is not alarming. So, we have seen that a new variant of COVID has been seen, it has emerged in since the month of January. So, it's not that much severe. However, you are not required to go too much in detail and track every other variant of COVID virus, not important for our exam. Then Kishida calls for unified stand on global order. So yesterday guys, we have seen this thing that the Japanese Prime Minister has visited India to synchronize the G7 and G20 meet. G7 meet is being chaired by Japan and G20 meet for 2023 is being chaired by India. So how they can be synchronized, what common points can be raised in both G7 and G20. Okay, so for that particular thing, the Japanese Prime Minister has visited India. However, they have discussed broadly the things that we have already taken up yesterday, that they have discussed on maintaining the rule-based order. Japan has kept the concern that the Russia, okay, that Russia had attacked on Ukraine, and all that things have been provided here. However, moving on guys, further, consulate vandalized in San Francisco, India lodges protest with the USA. So guys, we have seen that the pro-Khalistani elements have targeted Indian consulate. Fine. Then further moving on, we have these advertisements, and then in city section, the regional issues, regional developments have largely been given, which is not very important for our examination point of view. So we will directly be skipping from here. Okay, so again, the regional political articles and advertisements and these things have been contained. Okay, so we will reach directly to the editorial page, and on editorial page, first article, undermined by religious absolutism. So this particular article, it's talk about that how there is in India, basically the Muslim religious organizations. Okay, basically here the text, the references from the religious text on Islam, etc., has been given. Okay, and then all other how in pre-colonial times the narrative against Muslims was there, how it got changed. All these things with the help of religious text have been given. The article, guys, doesn't contains important and relevant substance for our exam. Doesn't contains, so I will not suggest you to go in this particular article for your exam. Please skip this article, not important. Then concluding on a high note in Manhattan, so we will see this article with respect to India's non-permanent seat in United Nations Security Council. We'll see this article. Then serial solution. So this article talks about India's recently Prime Minister had concluded the conference on cereals. Moreover, 2023 is being celebrated as International Year for cereals. International Year for Millets. International Year for Millets. So we'll see this article. Then above article, this article is talking about the in Kerala Assembly, fine, how ruling and opposition party. How adversarial relations are there. Okay, so this is something about that. Fine. Then further moving on, the wide disparity in human development. We'll see this particular article also. The article talks about that India largely focused on economic growth, but what about the human development? Okay, so we'll see this article. A fiscal mess in West Bengal. If the Trinamool government does not act soon, the road ahead will be bumpy. So the article is talking about that how in West Bengal there are a kind of the financial issues that are going on. Then further moving on, the citizenship dilemma over Islamic State women returnees. Okay, a boost to the zoonosis theory. Okay, now one very important thing I would like to tell you. See, COVID-19 pandemic, okay, it actually was declared as pandemic in 2020, but origin of SARS-CoV-2 virus can be traced back to 2019. Now, up till now, this particular thing has not been concretely proved that how this COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 virus got originated. Some people say that it has zoonotic origin. Zoonotic origin means that it emerged in some of an animal, then from animal it jumped to humans, and from within the humans this virus had got mutated since then. Okay, so there are multiple controversies, theories which speculate the origin of COVID-19 virus. So basically, guys, this is something that is talking about. But one question comes that is it important that you need to go and read all the theories with respect to origin of COVID-19 for your exam? No, very strictly you are not required to go in these articles. There are very two important reasons for that. Number one, every other day these kind of theories, new theories are being speculated, new theories are being given by scholars around the world, so you cannot track all of them, though some are the dominant. Then second reason is that basically up till now no one theory has been categorically proved that yes, this is 100% true. Third, one more reason is in fact there, that UPSC even doesn't ask a question on this particular kind of line. So that is all about this. So please don't go in detail for your examination. Are foreign laws firm now allowed in India? Okay, we'll see this particular article only to the extent for which it's important for our exam. Then further moving on, free market and equal rates of investment no longer beggaring belief. Okay, so there is one economic concept that has been given here in this article. We'll see this particular concept as well. Then further moving on, now largely here on this particular page, we have political articles which are not relevant for the examination. Then further moving on, India seeks increased security for High Commission in London. So guys, we see that across the different countries, pro-Khalistani elements, they are targeting the High Commissions and consulates or Indian embassies. Fine. Then further moving on in this particular direction, again largely the political articles have been given. Rapid action against climate change needed, UN panel. Now the moment you will see this particular article, you will read the headline, you will say that yes, this is the most important article in our newspaper. You will be spending a lot of time on this. But guys, understand that what this article is talking about. Now see this particular thing. Right now, climate change is happening. Okay, temperature is rising. In 2015, in Paris, world countries have taken a target that we will ensure that temperature doesn't rises by more than 2 degrees Celsius compared with the pre-industrial levels, and if possible we'll try to restrict it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, 1.5 degrees Celsius best case scenario. But understand, though these targets have been taken, but up till now no concrete step has been taken on this particular thing. And as all these things are going on, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, released its sixth assessment report. And in that sixth assessment report, very clearly they said that what we are doing right now, anyhow, we will breach 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature limit between 2030 to 2040. Between 2030-40, that will be breached, anyhow will exceed above 1.5 degrees Celsius. So world is not very serious. They are not doing too much on that particular thing. Moreover, you see now Russia-Ukraine war has already started, and as Russia-Ukraine war is going on, anyhow the climate change targets, they are not being taken very seriously, particularly by the European countries, as many of the European countries in a need of energy security, they have again turning back to the coal-fired power plants. Okay, so what has happened? So point is that countries are not taking it very seriously. So IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which works along with the UN, it has said that we need rapid action, we need immediate steps for that particular thing. So point is that fine, it's just saying that if we will overshoot that 1.5 degrees Celsius limit, then there will be catastrophic events that will come. Okay, island nations' survival will be threatened. All these things are there. But point is that uh, if you have started your preparation, already these things we already be knowing. Otherwise, if you don't know, I have told you. But some concrete substance has not been given. Okay, just the general things are being talked about here in this article. Okay, then further Supreme Court directs government to clear 28,000 crore one rank one pension arrears. So one rank one pension also we have seen many number of times. So one rank one pension means that armed forces personnel, okay, if now the armed forces personnel who have been served for X amount of years, and if they have retired on a particular post, they need to be paid a same pension. Suppose I retired in 2010, another person retired in 2020, but my service, my term of service and that person's term of service are same. We retired onto the same position, so pension should not be different. There should be the same pension. As of now, The people who have got retired till 2019, one rank, one pension is implemented, but the payments have not been done. So Supreme Court had said that these payments need to be cleared as early as possible, as soon as possible. Then further, moving on, scholars, experts from SCO countries discuss way to revive Buddhist culture. We'll see this article. Air India case. So recently this case happened where a person urinated on a woman. So these cases need to be taken seriously. Zero tolerance needs to be there. Xi in Moscow for talks with Putin on ties Ukraine conflict. So guys, we have seen that ever since this Russia-Ukraine war got started and the Western countries have imposed sanctions on Russia, Russia is going more and more near to China. More and more convergences between Russia and China is happening. And we have seen that in this particular line, Chinese President Xi Jinping has visited Russia also. Then further, there is no such thing as Palestinian nation. So Palestine-Israel conflict is going on, and more than, you can say that more than 70 years have already happened. Okay, so what has happened? Israel's minister said that there is nothing such as Palestine. And then further moving on, civil society groups calls for mediation between Khan and Sharif government. So political crisis in Pakistan. Now see, these articles doesn't contains relevant substance for our examination. So you are not required to really go too much in detail here. Then further moving on, current account deficit narrow, bolster rupee against global risk, finance minister. So basically guys, here it has been provided that basically CAD might be narrowed, okay, and basically in this particular capacity it has been provided that as it is progressing narrowly, fine, it will be good for Indian, it will be good for India's forex reserves. It will also help in the rupees, fine, prospects. Then further moving on, Sensex slide 0.6%, fine. After that, Indian carriers may face this much money. Now, and then we have the sports page. So this is guys overview of entire newspaper, okay, and one thing I have told you I think hundreds of times, but again I want to tell you here that particularly in business or economy page and in international relation or the international page, only those things will be important for your examination which has some academic substance. Day-to-day developments are not important. Every day the statement given by RBI finance minister not very much important. Day-to-day data is not very important. Okay, only academic substance, fine, on which the questions can be asked, that we need to identify. Okay, so that is all about the overview of newspaper. Now let's discuss all relevant articles one by one in detail. Okay, so in every class we start with a GS that can be used to your answers. Okay, just a minute guys, I think there is some issue that has happened. Just give me 1 minute. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Guys, just give me 1 minute. I think there is some issue with respect to the file that we have opened up here. Okay. Okay guys, so let's start with the GS quotation for today. So today we are going to take quotation from Michael Eneo. We'll take the quotation from Michael Eneo. Michael Eneo says, the power to make a choice goes with the duty of accepting the responsibility of the outcome of the choice. Now understand this thing, that humans, they want to make choice, they want to have a freedom, they want to have a freedom to make choices. but we are often not willing to accept the consequences of choice. Now you see this particular thing, if you made a choice, consequences can be negative, can be positive. If there are the positive consequences, we are more willing to accept it, but if the consequences are negative, we don't want to accept it. So we often avoid ownership. We often avoid ownership. So the point that the quote is making is that the power to make choice, fine, always goes with the duty of accepting the responsibility of the outcome of the choice. So your actions, you have to take ownership of all your actions. Fine. This particular idea can be used in essays. This idea can be used in essays as well as in ethics GS paper number 4. Fine. So this is all about the quotation for today. And now let's discuss. First article. Okay, serial solution. Now this article will see with respect to GS paper number 3, and within GS paper number 3, under many themes, we can take this particular article. For example, with respect to food security, with respect to agriculture, with respect to the sectors related to Indian economy, we can see that. Now, starting with this article. So basically, first of all, I would like to tell you guys that year 2023 is being observed as International Year of Millets. 2023 is being observed as International Year of Millets, and this has been done on the basis of initiative that has been taken by India. Now understand this particular thing. Today, India is proposing that millets can be superfoods. Why millets can be superfoods? Let's understand this particular thing. First of all, when we talk about millets, number one, millets have been called as climate smart. Millet has been called as climate smart crops. Why? Because number one, the water need by millets is substantially less as what is needed by particularly rice. So in less water they can grow. Secondly, they are hardy crops. It means that they can tolerate the sudden increase or decrease in temperatures. They are not very much sensitive to temperature change. They are not very much susceptible to moisture change. Okay. Moreover, they can also withstand drought. And all such kind of things. Now understand this thing, that as climate change is happening, these extremes will increase. Okay, temperatures extreme will increase, droughts and all such kind of things will become more probable. So here the millets can withstand all these things. Okay, moreover, as their water consumption is less, they are again also called as the climate smart crops because rainfall patterns will also change. Secondly, when we talk about the millets happen to have more of nutritional value. They have a wide amino profile. Moreover, when we talk about the wheat, okay, now understand this thing today. First of all, if I tell you the cereal groups, 3 cereals are the one which are grown most in numbers. Fine. Out of the cereal family, 89% of the production is only of 3 cereals, that is wheat, rice and maize. But understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the wheat flour has gluten in it, which creates a certain gastro problems. When we talk about rice, in rice carbohydrates are very good, but protein content is less. Okay, but when we talk about millets has wide nutritional profile, because of which they are very now by which we can deal with the food insecurity problem of India. Then thirdly, they happen to be more affordable. So therefore they are called as the poor man's friend. So therefore, India has said that the maize, they happens to be the best of the best food grains, and even finance minister in this particular budget has given a new name to millets, that is Shri Anna. Now what do we mean by Shri Ann? Shri Ann means best among the grains. So out of all the grains, they have been called as the best of the best grains, Shri Ann. Moreover, in this particular capacity, already Indian Institute of Millet Research in Hyderabad would be supported as a center of excellence. It will be provided the assistance, and Indian Institute of Millet Research in Hyderabad will be providing assistance to the farmers, that how they can enhance the productivity of millets and how the area under millets in India can be increased. Then recently what has happened, just a couple of days back, Prime Minister has also inaugurated a global conference on millets, and Prime Minister has said that millets are the door to prosperity for India's marginal farmers. Okay, they are also being referred by Prime Minister as the cornerstone of India's nutrition and an ally. Ally means a friend, ally against climate change. Okay, so this is the value that has been accorded to millets. Now, when we talk about millets, guys, basically in India, the consumption of millets has been entrenched in India's customs, India's culture, India's ethos. So sorghum, bajra, ragi, fine, jowar, etc. They are linked to India's dietary tradition, and because of this particular reason, India also happens to be one of the largest producer of millets in world. And right now, when we see this Russia-Ukraine war is going on, and because the Ukraine was referred to as the breadbasket of Europe, and Ukraine was a major grower of wheat along with the Russia, and last year 2022 we have seen that the prices of wheat also increased in international market because supply of wheat was not there, and in this point the gap can be filled by millets. Now, when we talk about cereals in general, they are very popular because they are energy dense, they can be grown with ease in arid soils, and particularly when we talk about the millets, fine, relative to rice, wheat and maize, they are also less susceptible to pest. So need of pesticides will also be reduced when millets are to be grown. This is something. Now, as we have seen that millets are so important, nutritional value is more important, they are more resistant to the climate change, but why farmers are not growing too much of millets? Reason is post-green revolution, dynamics in Indian agriculture got changed. What happened? Post-green revolution, the high-yielding variety seeds for rice and wheat got produced, and because of this high-yielding variety seeds, per acre production of wheat and rice increased a lot, but for millets it stayed at the same place. The point is that if a farmer has 1 acre of land, the farmer will be able to grow more rice and more wheat in the same land because of that high yielding variety seeds, but for millets production will be less. So farmers, they started to go towards the rice and wheat more and more, and at the same time government also procured more and more rice and wheat under its MSP regime, minimum support price regime. So because of these particular things, farmers have shifted towards the rice and wheat. Now understand this particular thing. Today we need to diversify the millet production in India, so government needs to work on multiple fronts. Number one, guaranteed procurement for wheat for millets is needed to be increased. Secondly, understand this particular thing, that right now we are competing towards global trioca. I told you that out of the total cereal, rice, wheat and maize, 89% of cereal production comes from them. And if we want to increase millet production, obviously, who will produce millet? Farmers will produce millet. Why farmers will go towards the millet? They will only go towards the millet if they are more remunerative than rice and wheat. And how they can be more remunerative? A, if their production in the same field can be grown. For that particular thing, scientific interventions are to be done. Secondly, government also need to support the millet growers, millet farmers. That is something that has to be done. Okay. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing, that there is also one more problem that has been associated with the millet is that perception of millets, the perception towards the millet has not always been very much positive. Millets were considered as inferior food, and rice and wheat were considered as superior food. So when the people's incomes in the rural India have increased, they have abandoned millets and they have moved towards the rice and wheat. So certain kinds of food are seen as more superior. Okay, this is wrong. Superior inferior dichotomy is it cannot be sustained, and it has nothing sound in that. Okay, so that is all guys about it. I hope that you have understood it. Fine. Now moving to the next article. So that is all about it. Moving to the next article now. Free market and equal rates of investment no longer begging relief. Free market and equal rates of investment no longer begging relief. We'll see this particular article guys with respect to GS paper number 3, concepts related to economy. Okay, moreover with respect to your general awareness for economy also, we'll see this particular article. Now let's understand that what this article is talking about. Okay, now the article is talking about an economic theory. Now what is this economic theory? Let's discuss about it. So basically economists from so many of the years, they have provided this particular thing, that different sectors of economy, different sectors of economy, they will give somewhat equal return on investment, and there is a kind of an equalizing tendency within an economy, that if some sector is giving higher return on investment, then over a period of time this particular sector's return on investment will also be equalized. Now I know that it might not have much of a sense for you, so let's understand this particular entire concept by the help of a very simple example. Okay, suppose in an economy there is one sector which is producing cars, car industry is there. Let's say pen manufacturing industry is there. Okay, let's say there is one sector which is manufacturing furniture, let's say these are the three industries in an economy, or these three sectors in an economy where the production of car is going on, pen is going on, furniture is going on. Let's say return on investment in the pen industry is, let's say, 10%. It means that if I invest 1 crore rupees here, I will make a profit of, let's say, if I will invest 1 crore here, I will make the profit of 10 lakh. So return on investment is 10%. Let's say in furniture industry also, return of investment is, let's say, 9.5%. I invest 1 crore rupee, I make 9.5 lakh rupees of profit. So it is similar here, Let's say in car sector, return on investment is high. Let's say here return on investment is 25%. It means that if I invest 1 crore rupees, I will make 25 lakh rupees of profit here. Now, first of all, you need to understand that why in this particular sector return on investment will be high. This can be high because of one particular reason, and the reason is this, that there are not much players who are manufacturing car. Let's say there is only one car manufacturer, that is the XYZ corporation. Okay, let's say they make a car at 1 lakh rupees. And they are, let's say, selling this particular car at 1,25,000 rupees. Now, why people will buy the car at 1,25,000 rupees? Because there are no other car manufacturers. If you have to buy a car, this is one person, or let's say there are two players. If you have to buy a car, you can buy the car from them. And if they are selling at 1,25,000 rupees, you have to buy at that. So the people are buying it and they are making a very good profit. They are making a good return on investment, let's say 25%. Okay, now the theory says that this thing will not go for long. The basic theory that have been up till now, it says that different sectors, their return on investment will be equalized. It can be 25% for few months, but over a period of time it will be equalized. Why? See, now when the entrepreneurs, capitalists will see that in car business, when the entrepreneurs or the capitalists will see that in car business ROI is 25%, what will happen? More and more people will jump in car making business. And as more and more people will jump in car making business, more competition will come in car making business. And when the competition comes, how you can make profit in competition? Only if you provide the same product but at a less price. Okay, now if you are providing the same product at a less price, people will come to you. Then your other competitor also have to reduce the price. So the price will go down and go down and go down, and it will also come at a average of around 10%, which is there in other sectors as well. So it has been said that over a period of time, the ROI, the profits will get equalized, it will get stabilized. There will be no one sector in which you can make exceptionally high ROI, return on investment. Okay. So if we read it, it simply provides that economists have argued that competition among entrepreneurs would ensure that the rate of investment would tend to be equal across different industries. Okay, this is something that has been provided. Okay, because it has been provided that wherever there is more profit, the people will move there, the investors will move there and will bring down the profit in that particular industry. This is something that has been provided. But now behavioral economists are saying that it always doesn't holds true. It doesn't always holds true. Why? Because they have given certain reasons in this particular direction. They have given firstly, people have limited cognitive abilities. Secondly, they have limited self-control. And thirdly, they possess some degree of altruistic rather than just purely selfish tendencies. Now, actually, guys, what happened? There was a kind of an experiment that was done amongst the beggars. Now, there are the beggars who are begging at the different train stations. Now, basically it was provided that if this particular principle holds true, then beggars need to go at that station where more footfall is there, where more people are coming out, because there will be more probability that you can make more in the begging. Okay, so if this principle was true, then the beggars will also abandon the stations where footfall is less and will go to those stations where footfall is more. But it was seen that no, beggars did not did that. Why beggars did not did that? Because limited cognitive abilities. Okay, people's thinking abilities are always not that much futuristic. Secondly, limited self-control. Now, you shifting from the place where you are doing a business going to other place. Okay, now you basically the sweet spot that you enjoyed there, it will got disturbed. Okay, you don't want to lose that. Okay, altruistic motives are there rather than just purely selfish tendencies. Okay, now basically guys, if you see a business particularly, if I tell you, see, people while doing certain business, they got attached with that particular business. Let's say the business of coaching industry. So when the people in coaching industry are providing coaching, they are not just making money out of that, but they also think that by giving coaching to needy people, by giving good coaching to good students, they will be able to make a change in their lives. So people also start to see their product as a way by which people's lives can be touched, people's life can be impacted, and they keep on doing that particular thing. So many businesses, even they're not making good money, but if impact is there, they will continue that business. Okay, so this is a kind of a hypothesis, this is a kind of a behavioral exercise case study that has been put forward here. Now, you are not required to go beyond what we have discussed here. Okay, so this is an important idea of behavioral economics that you need to understand. No need to go beyond this. So that is all about it, guys. And now moving to the next article. Are foreign law firms now allowed in India? Are foreign law firms now allowed in India? Okay, now basically guys, first of all, let me tell you some of background before going in this particular article. So recently what had happened, many of the newspaper articles have talked about that recently BCI, that is the Bar Council of India, had notified new rules. What they have done, they have notified new rules for registration and regulation of foreign lawyers and foreign law firms in India 2022. And with this, it has been it was people understood or people misunderstood that now a person who has studied law, let's say in the UK, will now be able to come in India and will be able to practice law in India as the regular lawyers of India are doing it. Okay, because of that particular thing, some of the people from the lawyer community, they also felt that because of that particular thing, the lawyers in India, they will face a kind of a tough competition. But is it really the case? No. Now guys, understand this thing. What has happened as per these rules, foreign lawyers and law firms, fine, they will come in India and they can practice foreign law, international arbitration, joint ventures. They can practice mergers, acquisitions, intellectual property matters in India on reciprocal basis. Now what it means, let's understand this thing. Guys, you see that many MNCs are also working in India. Let's say Amazon India. Amazon is working in India. Now, as Amazon is working in India, okay, there are many of the matters of Amazon India in which Amazon India is in dispute with some foreign countries, foreign territories. Okay, so that is the international matter. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the matters within Indian law, suppose a person had committed a crime, then that particular person will be treated under IPC, Indian Penal Code, CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code. This is the domain of the Indian law. But let's say the trade practices of Amazon India, it has some kind of a disputes with some other country, that will come under international law. Okay, so there are many MNCs which are working in India, so their international matters are there. After that, there are the mergers and acquisitions. Okay, there are many of the MNCs which are merging with each other, which are acquiring some other foreign entity. So for this particular thing also, the international law will be used. Okay, there is also the arbitration, mediation, okay, amongst the corporate players. Okay, so basically for these particular foreign or international law related matters only, the foreign lawyers can come in India and they can practice these particular matter. Understand this particular thing. Understand this particular thing, that foreign lawyers and firms, they also have to submit an undertaking that they shall not practice Indian law in any form or before any court of law or tribunal. So they cannot take murder case, they cannot take dacoity, rape case, because these are the cases under Indian law. They can only take the matters of international law or matters of international arbitration or matters of mergers and acquisitions between the countries or between the companies which don't come under the domain of Indian law. This is something that has happened. Okay, this is something. Now guys, why this is important? See, we are attracting a lot of foreign direct investment in India. We are attracting a lot of foreign investors in India. So when the foreign investors come and let's say they have certain legal matters which concerns the international law, they need the services of foreign lawyers. So we have allowed now the foreign lawyers that they come in India and they can assist them. Okay, so this is all about this particular article. So I hope guys that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. Concluding on a high note in Manhattan. Concluding on a high note in Manhattan. Now, this particular article, guys, this particular article is talking about India's membership at United Nations Security Council. India's membership at United Nations Security Council. And this article will see with respect to GS paper number 2, international bodies and India's role in international bodies. Okay, now let's start with discussion. Let's start with the discussion. Okay, so first of all, guys, what happened from 2021 to 2022? Okay, India became the non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council. Now guys, when we talk about United Nations Security Council, it is a principal organ within the United Nations and it has been given the mandate to instill international peace. Fine. Within United Nations Security Council, we have 15 members. 5 members are permanent member, P5 members, and then 10 members are non-permanent members. 10 members are non-permanent members. Now, when we talk about the 5 members, it is US, UK, Russia, China, and France. These are the 5 members, fine, P5, and then 10 are non-permanent members which are chosen on the rotational basis amongst the different regions of the world. So what happened 2021 to 2022, actually India was selected as a non-permanent member in these 10 members category. India's term has got expired in December 2022, and this was the 8th time that India became the non-permanent member at UNSC. So 7 times earlier, and this was the 8th time that India became the UNSC non-permanent member. And for the month of December 2022, actually India also became the chairman, fine, for the UNSC. Now the article is talking about that what things India focused while India was member here. So India has focused on multiple things. First of all, India has focused on maritime security, because today in terms of volume, in terms of value, substantial trade is happening through the sea lanes. So so maritime security is very important for the sea trade. Okay. Moreover, India always have talked about that the ocean waters, the high seas need to be the rule-based regions. Terrorism, because terrorism is the biggest threat to humanity. United Nations peacekeeping forces, how they can be reformed. Reformed multilateralism. Now understand this thing, United Nations, particularly the UNSC, these institutions have become West dominated. Representation of developing countries is very much less here. So how multilateral order, WTO, WHO, United Nations, they can be reformed. Okay, then Global South. Global South. So Global South is the grouping of the emerging and developing countries. So cooperation between Global South. These are certain things that India focused while in UNSC. Moreover, India also got selected as the chair of 3 important United Nations Security Council committees, that is Taliban Sanction Committee, Libyan Sanction Committee, and Counter-Terrorism Committee. And within Counter-Terrorism Committee, actually India has done an excellent job here. Now, Prime Minister specifically, this was the first time that India chaired UNSC meeting on maritime security, and India has specifically given the reference of United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Seas as an international law, as it should be followed in both letter and spirit. Moreover, now these are the things that any time, whenever, guys, not specifically here, but whenever maritime region will be there in the question, we'll always be talking about these things: freedom of navigation, anti-piracy, combating terrorism, transnational crimes at sea. And here also we have discussed all these things. Okay. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that when India became the chair in UNSC, that particular time was very much important because of the developments that happened in Afghanistan. So we saw that in Afghanistan, Taliban forcefully seized the power. And here there was a lot of rights violation, etc., that was happening in Afghanistan. And here India specifically took the matters going on in Afghanistan and said that we need to stop cross-border terrorism from Afghan soil, because Taliban has come over now in Afghanistan. The Taliban will support many of its affiliates to sponsor terrorism. So how it should be stopped? This matter India took. Okay. Then after that, rights of the women are to be protected, rights of minorities, children are to be protected. There needs to be an inclusive government which represents all the different factions of the Afghan society: minority, majority, women. Fine. So and moreover, we also talked about that there is very much important need that humanitarian assistance also needs to be provided. Moreover, India on the aspect of terrorism also put forward a proposal that certain terrorist should be listed, terrorist and terrorist entities should be listed into the list of international terrorist of concern. Fine. So Abdul Rahman Makki, okay, and such names were proposed, but actually what happened, China put a technical hold on that, but India did its best. India did its best. Moreover, when we talk about India's contribution in United Nations Security Council, so India, number 1, is the largest contributor to UN peacekeeping forces. Also, India has recently deployed the contingent of all women peacekeepers. Also, India has launched the Unite Aware technology platform to strengthen the real-time protection of peacekeepers. Okay, fine. So all these initiatives have been taken by India. Moreover, one very important thing that India, now see, these are the things that have been facilitated by India, but there are certain things which were also obstructed by India for good. For example, Western countries, they provided that climate change issue is to be taken from United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change led process. Now see, climate change is to be taken from the UN to the United Nations Security Council. Now, if this matter would have been taken under the UNSC, the P5 members who have their veto, they would have stalled all the process for the climate change. India obstructed that particular thing. Okay. Moreover, India also raised the issue of contemporary form of religiophobia. Okay, and the hate crimes, hate speeches, increasing communalism, etc., which is becoming a problem. These matters were also raised by India. So India's membership at United Nations Security Council happened to be more meaningful, happened to be full of productive and constructive initiatives that India has taken. So good for so India has played a very important leadership role here. Okay, so guys, actually this article I will call it as a wonderful article, 5-star article, because in a way, in one page, it has summarized entire India's membership at UNSC. So please use it for your examination. Fine. Now, moving to the next article. The wide disparities in human development. The wide disparities in human development. This article will see with respect to the GS paper number 3 as well as GS paper number 2, developmental issues. GS paper number 2 and GS paper number 3, developmental issues. Okay, now let's start with the article. Okay, so article is talking about that over the years, India has grown impressively. Moreover, as we talk about present time, it has been said that the moment of India had arrived, and India presently happens to be one of the fastest growing economy. So economic growth has come. But along with the economic growth, has it resulted in human development also? Okay, so for measuring the human development, we have HDI, Human Development Index. Human Development Index. See, understand this thing, growth came, but with the coming of growth, did the poverty for the large number of people reduced? The growth, did it lead to large number of jobs? Growth, did it lead to proper distribution of income? Fine. So these are the matters that we need to discuss. So let's talk about the Human Development Initiative, HDI. Okay. Fine. Sir, Khalistan movement is important, sir. See this thing, that as we talk about this Khalistan issue that is going on. See, basically these people are the fringe elements that are raising the Khalistani issue at the international stage. Now this understand this thing, you are not required to track that, okay, at this particular place the attack was made, how many people got injured, that particular kind of a thing. But guys, understand this particular thing, that these Khalistani elements, they are challenging the integrity of India. Is it clear or not? So this is a kind of a fringe movement that is going on. So in your post-independence history, just please look little bit on this particular period when the Khalistani movement was getting started. But here in this current affairs, as these issues are coming every day, you are not required to go and track that. Okay, now moving on. So I've told you that this particular article is talking about that with the coming of growth, did human development come? So we measure the human development with the help of the Human Development Index. Now Human Development Index is a tool which has been created by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, United Nations Development Program has prepared it. And Human Development Index was introduced in 1990 as an alternative to the traditional idea of GDP. So any country's progress, any countries of growth, we just see by seeing the GDP. So if GDP growth is good, if GDP growth is in double digit, if GDP growth is good, if GDP growth is in double digit, we say that everything is good. But no, that's not the case. If GDP growth is good, we cannot say that the human development is also going on. Now, first of all, when we talk about HDI, fine, how HDI is calculated? Fine, how HDI is calculated? So basically HDI is calculated on the basis of three parameters, three aspects. Number one, long and healthy life, knowledge, standard of living. And recently Human Development Report of 21-22 got released, and it has ranked India as 132 out of 191 countries. And India's rank is behind Bangladesh as well as behind Sri Lanka. Bangladesh was 129, India was 132. Okay. Sri Lanka was 73, India was 132. Okay. Now moving on, The article is talking about that it is very important to understand the sub-national. See, GDP growth is coming, but Human Development Index doesn't shows a very good status for India. Now, the article is talking about that in order to actually understand the status of human development in India, we need to see the state-wise disparities or the state-wise progress as well. And when we talk about the state-wise progress, state-wise disparities, understand this particular thing. The article is saying that the author has developed a new index which measures the human development on a sub-national level for 2019-2020. Sub-national level means, see, HDI shows India's ranking. But within India also, what about the state ranking? Where the Bihar stands, where Haryana stands, where Gujarat stands in terms of the Human Development Index. So up till now, we did not had any such HDI which is calculated on the sub-national level, that is a state level. But the author who has written the article, he has prepared and he is giving certain insights in this particular direction. He is giving certain insights in this particular direction. So what the author is saying? So first of all, when we talk about the HDI, okay, so HDI is calculated. Now I have told you 3 parameters, but within 3 parameters there are the 4 indicators for which we use HDI. That is life expectancy at birth, mean year of schooling, expected year of schooling, and gross national income. Now, when we talk about how to take these particular data, so life expectancy can be taken from the sample registration system. Fine, mean year of schooling and expected year of schooling can be taken from National Family Health Survey 5. Okay, and gross national income data is not available. So what author has done? He has taken gross state domestic product. See, at the level of nation we have GDP, and at the level of state we have GSDP, that is the gross state domestic product. He took the GSDP and divided per capita, number of people living. Okay, and by that he got the GNI at the state level, national income at the state level. And by using this particular method, the author says this particular thing, that Delhi occupies the top spot in Human Development Index. Bihar occupies the bottom spot in Human Development Index. Further, he has said this particular thing. It is worth noting that Bihar, unlike the previous day reports, is no longer considered as a low human development state. So in Bihar also, earlier it was a low human development state, but now it's coming in the category of a medium human development state. And when we talk about the states which are having very high state GDP, having high state gross domestic product, and the states are Gujarat, Haryana, now they have high GDP, but they have failed to translate this advantage in human development. What this particular thing shows? This particular thing shows that just the fact that you are having high state GDP, high gross state domestic product, it will mean that it will translate into human development. Not true. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you are having more GSDP, it will lead to more year of schooling. It will lead to more life expectancy at birth. It will not happen necessarily. Okay. Sir, Khalistan movement is important. Chindam Ganesh, I have already answered this particular question. Okay, please watch video carefully. Okay. Sir, English improve kaise kare? Understand this thing. English is just a language. Fine. And how to learn a language? You can learn any language by practicing it more and more. Only one way, nothing more than that. Fine. Now, so the article is simply talking about that thing, that the states such as Gujarat, states such as Haryana, they got high GSDP, but it did not mean that they have led to a lot more human development. Fine. Now, what is reason? There are many reasons for this particular thing. The first reason that comes here is that economic growth has been unevenly distributed. If Gujarat and Haryana, let's say, have high economic growth, it doesn't mean that it is evenly scattered. There are few people which might be getting a lot more benefit of that particular growth. Only few people are becoming more and more rich. And it sees that when we talk about India, 10% of Indian population holds 77% of the wealth. So growth is not properly distributed. Second issue that comes here is that, see, India has reduced poverty and has also improved the access to healthcare, education, but actually the quality of these services are still a concern. The quality of these services are still a concern. Now understand this particular thing. Suppose, see, There are public hospitals, there are public schools which you can avail for free of cost, but quality is not good. And because quality is not good, people still are going to private hospitals. People are still sending their children to private schools. And because of that particular thing, their out-of-pocket expenditure increases. And they are often not able to invest on meaningful human developmental things. Fine. So this is the reason that comes here. Now, government must prioritize human development. Government must prioritize human development, and for this thing, government need to have a multi-pronged, multifaceted approach, which takes many things at the same time. Government need to focus on addressing income inequality, gender inequality. We also need to ensure that access to social services, fine access to social services, health, education needs to be improved. Environmental challenges are needed to be addressed. Investment in social infrastructure is to be done. More investment in healthcare, education, sanitation, clean electricity, clean fuel, etc. is to be given. Okay, so this is all about this particular article. Fine. I hope guys that you have understood. And by these investments, fine, India can create a lot more job for its youth. Now moving to next article. Scholars, experts from SCO countries discuss way to revive Buddhist culture. Okay. Now, this article will see with respect to we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, international initiatives taken by India. Now, there is a concept of soft power. There is a concept of soft power given by Joseph Nye. Now, soft power means, see, guys, what do we understand by soft power? First of all, what do we mean by power? Power is to influence other people to do what you want them to do. That is power. Influencing other people's behavior so that they do what you want them to do. That is power. Power can be hard power. I can have a gun and I put a gun on their head and I say that you do what I'm doing. They will do. This is a hard power that I have used. There can be economic power. I give them a lot of money and I ask them that you do whatever I want to do. This is economic power. Then there can be soft power. Soft power, for example, let's say you respect me a lot. And I ask you that please do this thing. Please do hit the like button. You do that particular thing. It's not because I have given you money. It's not because I have threatened you that if you will not do that, I might harm you. But why you are doing that? Because this shows a kind of a bond. It shows a kind of a relation between us. It shows a kind of a soft influence. So the countries, by their rich culture, by their rich traditions, by their people to people bonds that they have, the bonds that they have with the other countries, fine, the countries have soft power. Now when we talk about India, India's soft power includes India's Ayurveda, India's culture, Buddhism, Jainism. All these are the constituents of India's soft power. Now understand this thing. The genesis of Buddhism happened in India, and in most of the South Asian and Southeast Asian countries, Buddhism is practiced by many people. And as Buddhism's genesis happened in India, large number of these countries get connected with India, and this shows India's huge soft power. Okay. Now, further moving on. So guys, India has a soft power in that Buddhism happens to be a very important plank, and in order to enhance and in order to connect with other countries on this soft power front, what has happened? India has recently hosted the conference on shared Buddhist heritage, and in this particular conference, many countries have participated. Actually, the countries of SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, has participated. So here Russia, China, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Belarus, Bahrain, Myanmar, UAE, Kazakhstan, they have participated. Moreover, India is also planning to host World Buddhist Conference, and by hosting the World Buddhist Conference, India further wanted to connect with the people on the Buddhism. Okay. Now, the aim of the conference is to re-establish this conference. The aim was to re-establish trans-cultural links, seek out the commonalities between India and other countries on the basis of the Buddhism, Buddhist art of Central Asia, art styles, archaeological sites, antiquities. On these particular basis, we want to connect with the other countries. Okay. So this is something that India has explored, and this is an example that how India had tried to connect with other countries by using the soft power. Okay, so this is all about it. Now moving to next article. Kishida calls for united stand on global order. Now guys, understand this thing. You are not required to really track too much of this particular development. Fine. Because much has not come out of that. See, I have already first of all covered this particular article yesterday. So Japanese Prime Minister has visited India. Why? Because this year Japan is hosting G7 summit and India is hosting G20. So how they can be converged, how they can be synchronized with each other, for that particular thing he had come together, and discussion on many number of things have happened. For example, unified stand on global order. Japan is saying that India, fine. For example, guys, what has happened just in the month of September 2022, Prime Minister made a statement, Indian Prime Minister made a statement where he said that this is not an era of war. So for that he has appreciated India. So both the countries have said that we need to put forward the unified global order. Important issues such as the climate change needs to be taken up, terrorism needs to be taken up. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that you are not required to learn these things every time. See, when we talk about these countries, whenever they will come together, obviously they will be talking on these common themes only. That is, the terrorism is the biggest problem, peace is important, climate change is important, okay, rule-based order needs to be ensured, food security challenges needed to be handled, all these things. But one thing, one important development I want to tell you here is that basically for Delhi, Mumbai, fine, for Delhi Mumbai corridor, Japan is giving a lot of money to India, and for that Japan has provided that the fourth round of investments will be cleared. Okay, so that is all about this particular thing, guys. And now moving to the next the main practice question for today. So today's question is, India is now one of the fastest growing economies globally. However, this growth has not resulted in a corresponding increase in its Human Development Index. Analyze. So this will be a 10 marker question for GS paper number 3. 10 marker question for GS paper number 3. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood the session. Sir, how to think positive? Okay, how to think positive? See, first of all, don't think negative, and if you don't think negative, automatically the positivity will come in your life. So point is that we make a lot of effort in thinking negative, and when we think negative, we feel low. So you are going out of your way and you are thinking that what if everything fails? What if you will not be able to clear your exam even after preparing for so many of the years? And because of this particular negative thinking, what happened? We are not able to do the work at hand. We are not able to meet our deadlines. We are not able to put productive hours for the study. And when all these things happen, automatically the positivity goes down. And automatically the positivities go down. So just stop thinking negative. Whenever the negative thinkings are coming in your way, just think at the work at your hand that you have. Just do that. Automatically it will go down, and the moment you will do action, positivity will come. Don't run after positivity. We have thought that okay, positivity is just, let's say, a kind of a we think that a positivity is just a thing that we can chase, we will get it and we will keep it in our pockets. But that is not the way. First do actions. Fine, avoid negative thoughts, and once you will do the actions, automatically the positivity will come, positive thoughts will come. Okay, so that is all about it. Chindam Ganesh, please dear sir, Khalistan movement is important for UPSC aspirants. Please dear, watch the video. I have already replied that. Okay, so that is all for today. Now moving